right, there we go. Hey everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another great day of FileMaker training at fmtraining.tv. I'm the creator of fmtraining.tv, where you can learn all about the FileMaker platform and learn how to build better FileMaker applications for you, your customers, your organization. This broadcast is completely free to everyone and is being broadcast in high definition to Discord, YouTube, and to Twitch. This broadcast is being recorded, which is really great. Of course, we might clean up the recording a little bit, so if we make a malfunction during the live stream, then of course we reserve the right to clean that up on the recording later on. However, because it's a live broadcast, we encourage you to ask questions. In fact, some people get aggravated when there's this dialogue with you and we ask questions. We want questions. If you have a question, odds are other people have the question too. And so I want to thank everyone for logging in. Ken and TK and Dave One, Dave Learning, Ed, Elzo, Carol, Jake, Mike, all of you, welcome once again to another great broadcast. Now, as a reminder, if you want to check out the upcoming broadcast, go to fmtraining.tv, press the left tab for the live button. You can see the upcoming broadcast schedule. That's pretty awesome. Additionally, if you want to help support this channel, right? We always say this, this broadcast is brought to you by fmtraining.tv, bringing you the greatest and the most entertaining FileMaker training videos available. So the idea is that if you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out our on-demand video bundles. We have videos that cover the latest version of FileMaker. We have videos that cover the deploy course. In fact, we used to sell the courses individually. Anymore, it's just much simpler to sell a complete bundle for a low price. We do this on an annual basis. So if you buy one of the bundles, that really helps support the channel. It ensures that we can keep coming back every day, because this broadcast actually takes a lot of money to run. The people here don't work for free. Hello everyone, Richard Carlton here, testing 1, 2, 5, 8, 12. Nick, are you there? Nick was not supposed to be here today. In fact, he's not really here. Oh my gosh, look at that hair. Woo!
Where's my camera? How I can change camera?
Yeah, because he's not prepared for today. That's fine. So everyone, welcome to another awesome FileMaker training today. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock. I want to welcome everyone to FileMaker training. And this is like one of those deals we're playing football, and you line up, and there you got, and the quarterback's got his hand under the crotch of the center. And he's like, okay, under his legs, like, get ready to hike me the ball. American football, right? And then you look up, and you see the defense, and you see the players on your side. You see the defense they have, and you realize, oh, crap. The ball we were going to call, the play we're going to call ain't going to work, because just not going to work. So you have to call what we call an audible. So what is the audible? We are going to accelerate. It's very convenient that you're here, Leland Long. We're going to be talking about Leland Long's sample file, as well as David Angel sent us a sample file. So both of those get promoted to today, right? Pretty exciting. Nick is here to provide his commentary. Also, Nick is also preparing for tomorrow. So Nick's first question tomorrow will be on the, I'm going to help Larry with this, but we had the neomorphism sample file, the new morphism sample file. And at the top of it, you had a status, you kind of rolled your own status toolbar, and there was a little chart, graphic pie chart in there. And so Larry, Marine Corps Larry, who's a moderator here, and he's been really up my case about making sure that Nick talks about this. So tomorrow Nick's going to talk about this. Plus, there was another developer, and I can't remember your name, I do apologize if you're here, who sent us a sample file about that pie chart could be better or was more accurate or whatever. I'm not entirely clear, but he did it with a web viewer, a little pie chart with a web viewer sample. So it'll be kind of fun to play with that tomorrow. So tomorrow's kind of an open Q&A day with Nick. Then if we want to look at the broadcast schedule, I'm going to press the button here. If I can get that to come up. Let's see. Oh, it's down here. Hang on. I have to cover over Nick's face. There we go. And on. So today is not Jesse. Today is Nick, and basically we're going to be covering basically next Thursday. We're moving it up a whole week is what we're doing. So who are these people and why should I care? I'm Richard Carlton, creator of fmtraining.tv. I'm here with frankly, the #1 contributor to the channel, Nick Hunter. He's by special request. When Jesse blew up, I said, oh my God, I can't have a Clarice conversation today. I need Nick here. And so Nick is here. He's here to help us answer questions along the way. And so we're gonna bump next week's conversation to right now. So what is that conversation? I have literally been there when people have come to me and they have said, Richard, the internet is full. The internet's full, as in like it's like a dump truck or a pickup truck, or it's your bag, your backpack, and it's full and it can't do anymore. And so the internet's full. What do we do? And it's like somehow your fault that the internet's full as a developer. So you need to understand that you're dealing with people who their idea of an exciting time is TikTok, or going, we're talking people, customers here that are using your solution. You probably appoint people with your customers that are probably pretty brilliant, but I've actually been at customers and it became the running joke with the IT people that the internet was full, and they would call me and say the internet's full. That means that FileMaker's running slow, therefore the internet must be full. And so how do you know that the internet's full? How do you verify the internet's full? How do we have a conversation about that? So I'm going to bring up a sample file over here real quick that we posted. And I'm going to bring it up down here, hopefully, if it's still here. All the people are posting stuff everywhere. So it's Leland Long. So I want to say something about Leland Long. So Leland Long is an in-house FileMaker developer. Leland has seriously kicked some serious for us. And he built basically, I've been complaining for a long time that we didn't have the ability to ping out of FileMaker, ping a server. So we really need a get function that says get the latency of the current FileMaker server. It doesn't exist. So we've been wanting this for a very, 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 very long time. And Leland built, he's built like 3 or 4 versions of this. I have the first version for you here, which I think is really educational. And then we have the kind of the finalized version that he's been playing with. He built an add-on, he did some other stuff. But let me just play with the prototype here first off. So what I want to do is show this real quick. And Nick, if you have questions about this, but we always know this what happens. Like, oh, the FileMaker file is slow. FileMaker's horrible. Nick sucks. Lean design is horrible. Right? What all the problems that go on. The first thing you have to establish is if the server is in a different location than you're in, you need to run a latency test of the server. That is the delay. So if you take a little packet of information, like a little paragraph of text, you write like a little paragraph of text on a card and you shoot it to the internet, this white thing is a packet. That is your packet of information. How long does it take this packet, this little string of text? Typically it's 10, 24 bits or characters or whatever it is, a little packet. So as you download a FileMaker file, you're going to get a lot of packets sent to your file. Everything goes as a packet on the internet. It's a little bulge of information that runs along the internet on the wire, right? And it shows up. And so when you download a big layout, you get packet and packet and packet, and all these pages come down and they hit your FileMaker file, and then it displays. And when you save it and commit a record, then you send back 1 or 2 or 20 packets, whatever you send back up to FileMaker. So if this little packet of information, if this little piggy goes to the market, it's very slow, then your FileMaker file will appear to go slowly. And so we want to have a way of testing this. So what we end up doing here is we had, for example, apple.com. So we said start, and what we did is, if I hit start, is it going start? Is it going 5, 10? Okay, so what it's doing here, it's running a ping test on my machine against apple.com. And so it's not technically a ping test, but it's close enough that I think that the results are valuable, okay? And so we're technically not telling FileMaker to do a ping, but we're using basically a URL, insert from URL with the curl option, and we're timing basically the first response. So if I say something incorrectly, Leland, I'm gonna read what Leland's saying here, as long as you don't get too far in the weeds. So if you're run a single latency test, okay, so he's back to talking about that. All right, so Leland, you're obsessed about that, but the problem is, okay, so I'll get to Leland's conversation about this briefly. So what I did is I took Leland's file here and I set it up to just kind of run. And this is the milliseconds it's taking for this first response here to come back from a customer, right? And so the idea is that you can, in order for this to be useful, as you set up a customer solution, you need to do a test on their solution to know what normal is for them, right? So, for example, it's the speed of the internet. Okay, well, people say, well, it's electrons on a wire. It should be the speed of light. Okay, that's technically correct. But as I've said in our training videos, we've covered in our new training performance videos in our video course, is that it's the speed of light, and then it hits this router switch looking network box with all the little Ethernet plugs in it. And that box routes the traffic to a certain hole. And as it routes it through that machine, it's like a freeway. You're going the speed of light, and then suddenly, people hate when you're on a freeway, and suddenly there's a red light on the freeway. Sometimes you go through a city, and they'll put stoplights right in the middle of the freeway, and everyone comes to a stop, and you wait. And then the lights turn green and you keep going. That's what a router is. It slows you down. It adds milliseconds of delay, okay, basically. And so the idea is that you want a very low delay, so your packet of information doesn't stop at too many lights. And if it does stop at a light, it's really quick. So every time you stop at a light on the freeway, they call that a hop. It's a router, right? And so if you go from if you have a FileMaker server in your office, you might have 1 hop or you might have 0 hops. It's pretty quick. But if your FileMaker server is on the cloud, I'm in the Bay Area, FileMaker Cloud is somewhere in the Bay Area, it probably has 3 or 4 hops. If I have FileMaker server on the East Coast or on a different continent, or I put it in Greece where Nick is from, or in France, and I try to access it, it might be 12 or 13 or 18 hops, and every time it hits a hop, it's hitting that's a red light. Stop, and the traffic routes, and then you keep going. Now the problem is if a lot of people start downloading video, typically is how this happens. They're downloading video, things like that. What happens is that the delay at the stoplights becomes big. Okay, that's the problem. Instead of like you hit a red light, 20 seconds, you're going again. Not too bad. But what if the lights that we hate are the ones you're 3 minutes or 4 minutes out of light, and you're waiting forever, right? And then when the light turns green, it's green for like 5 seconds, and 3 cars get through, then it's red again for 3 or 4 minutes. We hate those things, right, Nick? Yep. So Nick is very bored. You have to be part of the conversation here.
No, I'm listening.
And so it's important that as you start to test your FileMaker solution, you know what is normal for your customer. So if you look at these numbers over here, are these normal? Are these normal numbers, right? And so from any time that you're going across the internet and you're hitting less than 30 milliseconds, that's pretty good. If you're less than 10 milliseconds, that's just downright wickedly fast. If you have a FileMaker server in your office, the speed will be 0.5 to about 1.5 milliseconds. That's the delay from the first floor to the second floor or within the building, right? So it's really fast. So then 10 milliseconds or less, kind of across town, high-speed network like the Amazon. But if I go from like one city to the next city, you might have 20, 30, 40 milliseconds, okay? If I go from the East Coast of the United States to the West Coast of the United States, I have a server, say, in Florida or in Atlanta or in New Jersey or in Virginia or Washington, D.C., and I'm on California, the best speed you're going to see is about a 70-second delay. So the smaller the number, the better. 70 seconds is starting to be kind of noticeable as a performance problem, okay? Very important to understand that.
The first question I have here is, this test here is made within FileMaker. That's great. But that test is made on the client context, not the server context, because that could be different as well, right?
Well, okay, so we'll talk. Let me finish framing this, and then I'll get to this. This is a great question. So 70 milliseconds across the country. My rule of thumb is, and why does lean design and why does this matter, right? So we always spend a lot of time on this live stream channel talking about performance, making FileMaker go faster. If you're Bunny, if you're Trixie, Megan, you're brand new FileMaker people, they're just trying to get things to work, basically make FileMaker work at all. They don't care how fast or slow it is. Then as you start to go farther along, we call it the progression of learning. So if I hit the button right here, bring up the progression of learning, I know a lot of you can't see my mouse moving, but the brand new developer, this green person, this is Megan or this is Bunny. And then somewhere between this brand new person and intermediate, you get into this area where you have to host the FileMaker solution. You need to host it because people want to share it. You're like saying, oh, look how great my solution is. And suddenly out of the blue, your person comes in and goes, hey, you have a FileMaker file? Yes, I have a FileMaker file. Oh, can I use it too? Because it'll save me time. And you're like, oh, of course, because FileMaker is great at sharing, and I'm an awesome FileMaker developer, and I'm Megan, and I have green hair, and I kick ass. And so Megan loads it on the FileMaker server, and it's great, except it starts to slow down. So you have to learn to quantify what's fast and what's slow. And so Claris company officially says that speeds of 150 milliseconds or greater are bad. My rule of thumb is about 100 milliseconds or more, you really start to notice it. We built FM Starting Point to survive and operate at 100 milliseconds. So it's designed to be super fuel efficient. And that's not, I'm not talking about neomorphism, all that stuff. That's an improved design. But I'm talking about the current shipping FM Starting Point is highly, highly, highly efficient, right? And so we design it with that in mind. So the question is that, so you start to understand low numbers are great. So less than 10 is awesome. Less than 30 is pretty damn good. Somewhere between 30 and 70, it's going to start maybe slightly noticeable, slightly slower, maybe. If you're using FM Starting Point, you probably won't notice it. From, across the United States or across continents, it could be up to 70. Going from the United States to Mumbai, India, it was 332. I remember we were seeing that number a lot during our training with Jesse Barnum. That's like just miserable, right? And so you don't really want to host a file literally on a server that's on the other side of the planet. So this is my round planet, right? You don't want it on the other side of the planet. You want it at the FileMaker server as close to you as possible. So understanding that 300 is absolutely atrocious. 100 to 150 is like this red line that you really don't want to cross because your customers will complain. And then below that's better. So you get a tool like this from Leland, who's great. He did exactly what we wanted. And you see numbers like this. You're like, thumbs up. So, but the problem is that what we need to understand is that we only know that these numbers are good, assuming that that's what they are under normal conditions. But if people are all watching the Mars rover landing on TV and getting video on TV, then maybe all those red lights have a lot more cars going through them and things slow down. So the question is, you need to know what normal is for that customer. So what you have to do is kind of run a test in advance, know what normal is for them. And then if they say, hey, performance is really horrible, the internet's full, or whatever thing they say, FileMaker sucks today, right? Why does FileMaker suck so much? Then you can go to a script that you create for them based upon this right here. And this is a prototype. I'm going to show you the more refined ones that Leland did. He did a really great job at these. And you could do a test back to your FileMaker server to see if that FileMaker server is slower, okay? Now, the important thing is to understand what normal is and then check it out. So if suddenly where normal for us is 12 and 17 and 21, things like that, and suddenly you're getting 50 and 60 and 80, yeah, people are going to notice a slowdown. If it suddenly goes from 10, 20 to 300, people are going to quit using FileMaker. They're going to go back to using Post-it notes because FileMaker is too slow. So it's important to understand that. Now, Leland pointed out, if I'm going to pop up his sample file real quick, and I'm getting to your question, Nick. He created, this is his latest version of his chart. Although, am I in FileMaker 19 or 18? I'm in 19 right now. Okay, so I'm in 19. So if I say, what's my latency, right? So what I've done right here is I set it for a single server. Now, what Leland does is he takes, he's a little different than the way I would do it, but he has the number of servers you can test, the number of times you're going to test it, the timeout, which is really important to have this, and then you would want to put your server on here. So you could say HTTP S, I guess you could put like my server in Santa Clara or up on the internet. So I could say dbw.04.@rcc.com. We could try that just for fun, okay? RCCDB4, right? And I could click out of it, and then I could say test again, and I could see what I get. And so it runs these numbers. It comes back with this average. For me, I actually like to see the numbers, because what you can see, if you get a long string of numbers going, you'll see numbers like 19, 20. You'll see numbers like this. Then out of the blue, you'll see an outlier that's 200. And then you know something funky is going on. So I actually like to see the raw data. He's giving you an average here, but as a developer, I like to see the raw data. So when I got the sample file from him, it didn't show this. I wanted to see these numbers so I could get a sense of it. Because when you run a ping program on your computer, if I go down here to utilities, and if I have the network utility, and I say I want to do a ping, so I'm going to do a ping to the same dbw 04.@rcc.com, right? And I'm going to have it an unlimited number of pings. And so it's going to dbw04.@rcc.com. And it's saying I wonder if my engineer is blocking the pings. Because so this is the part that Nick was bringing up. Okay, so let me bring this up. So ping is a very specific network thing. It's not a FileMaker thing. It's not an Apple thing. It's not a Mac thing. It's not a Windows thing. It's not an iPhone thing. It's a before most of you ever heard of the internet, there was this thing called DARPANET in the early 90s, and ping comes from that. It's like FTP, ping, before there was even web browsers. Mosaic was the first web browser from Netscape, right? Remember that? The guys built it for the University, I think, Michigan or whoever it was, Nick, way back in the day.
But the name came from the game Pong.
That really where it came from?
Yeah, okay, so that gives you the time where that created.
Goes way back. So the idea is that you can do a hardware ping and it comes back. That's what this is over here. Let me do another 50, or I could just do apple.com, I guess. So you can do apple.com, and so you're seeing 20, 24, and notice how precise this is. These are, 20 milliseconds with a .103, okay? For me, that's like too many significant digits, right? It's just too much. And so the idea is that it's giving you numbers here. The ping that we're doing here is kind of a hack of a ping, but it's a pretty close approximation. We're actually telling the web server on the other side to respond back to us. And so there's a little extra delay in the web server software on the machine making the reply. Normally ping goes to like the network card, the network processor that's on the networking. So if you have old school computers, you had a PC with the cards in it, you had a network card, the card would handle the ping for you. The operating system wouldn't even do it. So someone would.
So here Leyland is using kind of a SAS on the net, right?
Well, he's actually it's a URL protocol with a curl option, and you can actually put in there the time delay on each response that comes back. And so he's timing the very first response, which is perfect. So it's the very first, we don't care about how long it takes to come back with all this other stuff. Like we're using FileMaker. If I go down here, it says, we ping this one machine and it's saying, oh, I'm on FileMaker 19.2 and this and that and the other thing. We don't care about, it's just the very first ping. He's doing the math on this and coming back with the number. It's pretty close approximation, because if you run the apple.com here, I go back, zoom out a little bit, Nick. I'm going to go back to this one. You got 14, you got 15. I go to these numbers over here, right? These numbers look about the same, 17, 24. And so that's why this is very valuable. I think it's pretty close approximation of what you're going to see. And so he did a really great job. So what he did on this one tool over here, he really went all out on this. He kicked some serious ass. This guy, for those of you who need Leland, so where do you work, Leland? It was a cabinet company again? I lost track of that, where do you work? But he built it with four servers here, and he puts these in. And so what he does, if you run the test, he's testing your hits against each of these servers, right? And so the idea is that from his perspective, you can test whether something is going well or not going well or whatever's happening. And so Amazon is not replying back at all from this location. So, and this was working. So it makes me wonder if I monkeyed with that or what. I could stop. But it has a timeout, I think, at 10 seconds. Oh, that was Microsoft dropped a packet. It didn't reply back. So these are interesting numbers. For me, primarily, if I was trying to... so Leland works in-house as a developer at a company. I don't normally work in-house as a developer. My job is to just make sure the FileMaker is working. So I would be interested in knowing the time delay to the FileMaker server. I would also be interested in knowing potentially if there are other servers are running as fast. So if just this server is really slow, the database server, but everything else is fast, and maybe there's a problem with our server. But that's kind of like an additional triage level. For me, the first thing to do is establish whether the people say FileMaker is slow. And so you have to establish, is it in their mind? Are they drinking? Are they on drugs? I'm being dead serious here. The idea is that you need to be able to look through, and find out, are they thinking FileMaker slow and it's fast, or is it really slow? And if it's really slow, is it your fault? I'm going to be honest with you. Is it your fault? If this is your speed, 21.7 to the FileMaker server, and it's going slow, it's your fault. You are a bad FileMaker developer, right? And you haven't been watching Nick's Lean Design.
Yeah, the problem is there's so many reasons why you can have a slow machine and why it could be intermittent. The primary, okay, the server, you know, I'm very picky with servers. That's why even though, you know, like Richard, you know, recently I told you that I'm wiring my house with a cable, with the, you know, I'm not relying on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not reliable. You know, it's in and out, you know, up and down like this, and you can't control it. So you don't, typically you never have a server on Wi-Fi, you know, that you don't. You have the client on Wi-Fi, but not the server. And obviously not both of them, okay? So that one. And then, for example, people says, oh, I have a kick-ass internet, okay, like optical fiber or whatever. Yes, but, and they said intermittently is slow and fast. And the guy is from home, right? So he has a server at home. And I said, one day I said, oh, by the way, do you have teenagers? Oh, yeah, I have a 117 and 114. Okay, bingo. Okay, so ask them to stop playing PlayStation online. Ask them to stop downloading videos and streaming Netflix and whatever they stream. So ask them to stop this, and then, like by magic, you know, you have a fast internet. Other thing is, oh, a customer recently said, oh, yeah, or I don't know, when sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. Okay, so yes, when I'm connecting to the mothership, you know, when I'm connecting to the server of my mother company, it's slow. Oh, you have a VPN, and the company is in Melbourne, Australia. So that means all the traffic of his computer is going to Melbourne, Australia, and then come back to Atlanta where the server is and back to him, right?
Yep.
So like you said, you are hops. It's horrible. So now maybe a challenge for Leyland. Ping is the beginning of the diagnostics tool. Okay, it's the first thing you do. It's like taking the blood pressure when you go to the doctor. That's the first thing they do. Okay, ping.
Yeah, but here's the rub with this. Very important is that you have a patient who's saying they have a problem, and we once again don't, and they have no skills. And so what we need them to do is we need them to press the button, and either it emails us the results or they give us the numbers or whatever it is. But we need this. We can't say, hey, go take your own blood pressure. And so open the ping utility and type ping and do this and do that. No, we need a button in FileMaker says, you know, button says, my shit is slow. What do I do? Or
but I need to be able to do the ping because first of all, I need two things. I need ping and trace route. I need two
trace route. Okay, well, don't get greedy. I'm just happy. I finally got ping after 2 years of whining about it.
But the ping, I need to do the ping from the clients to the server, okay? But I also need to do the ping from the server to another, like for example, to apple.com. Because sometimes maybe my client is fine, but my server for where it's located for whichever reason is slow to death. You know, so if you do the test on the client, oh, my client fine, but the server is down, right? So it's
So this is the beginning of a tool that you can use. Once again, you could just press the button, have them press the button, and it could package up the data and then shoot it to you in an email. Might be a much better way of handling it. But if you have the data, you can do it. The trick that I wasn't aware of was trying to do the curl option with the time delay in here and then going for the first one. That was the key essential discovery awakening that Leland had. So I want to thank Leland for getting a great tool for us. I put the prototype one in here for you to play with a little bit more, and then you can He had to add on everything. But I want to say, so Leland, if people want to reach out to you and contact you and tell you how much they love you and send it and write a check and send you $1 million, which I think is unlikely, but I want to give everyone that option. How do they get a hold of you? How do we want them to get a hold of you? So let us know in the Twitch, because he's on Twitch, talking on Twitch. So he's not part of the Discord conversation. Looks like there's some Windows challenges with the Windows side. I haven't tried this on Windows, so in general, the curl options should work just fine on Windows. So the ability to generate this and this will work fine on Windows. Okay, that's not a problem. If you're trying to do the chart stuff, I think he built this on a Mac, and then he has a test on Windows, whatever. But that's what happens when you get free software in the morning, right? Free software in the morning. Kyle says it's an IE thing. Yeah, once again, the Internet Explorer that drives the web viewers. Always kind of a tricky kind of conversation. But yeah. Yep. So that's the idea with this. So the idea is that someone reports a problem, you have them run a test, they give you back. Ideally, I would get back this. I would want to see this, right? And if the numbers are good, then you know that your code has a problem or the person has an issue. They don't understand what their expectations of how fast it should be going. Something else is wrong. But you don't want to try to fix your FileMaker code if these numbers all look like 90, 100, 120, 170, 285, 111, right? Then you're trying to performance fix something that, yeah, it's going to be really hard to fix. Super ultra lean design, right, Nick? Ultra lean.
Yeah. But anyway, the long story short on this, because the internet, diagnosing the network is a nightmare, because there's so many ways you can screw up a network. The list is 2 miles long, what you need to test first. So what I'm saying to people is that why are we relying on Amazon for hosting the server? Okay, it's because none of us can pretend to beat Amazon in terms of performance. It's not possible in terms of bandwidth. You know what I mean? So the problem is they have a giant highway, a big giant highway as an internet. They have a big tube arriving to the data center like this. And then you're sure that your server, the connection to the server inside the network, the internet, right, will be always optimal.
Yep.
When in your house, you have the download speed and the upload speed, which is two things, and you're not guarantee to have the speed. It's up to. It's not like, so that's why, for example, me at home, I have a Comcast business, because my bandwidth is guaranteed. It's not like up to, So that's why for server we rely on Amazon, we rely on people like this, because then we get that problem out of the equation. Do you agree?
Absolutely, I totally agree. I like building a local server to build the local server, and having the performance in your home is useful. I always tell my senior engineers, make sure you have a local server that you play with in your house. But Nick finally has one, which is great. It's really educational, being able to set up and build your own server. So this is Leland's information here. It's L-E, right? LANDLONG, Leland Long at me.com if you want to email him about these samples. I gave them to everyone here, so welcome, part of the community. He's done a very great job. Me personally, I want to thank him. So some variation of this will find its way into a future version of Starting Point. So when people go, Starting Point slow, right? So I can say, hey, hit the button, tell me what it says, and then I'll probably have it rip out a string of 10 or 20 of these things or whatever, and then they can read the numbers to me or copy paste it or whatever they want to do. So I think it's super useful. Really, really, I've been asking for this for a long time, and Leland actually went, hey, Richard asked for it. We should get Richard what he wants, because then, Richard will tell everyone how wonderful I am, and that's true. So, Leland, you're an awesome guy. Thank you for that. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. I appreciate it, Nick. So.
Yeah. And anyways, like one day, I think it's 2 years ago when we started this lean design concept together. We explained that the thing you can do with FileMaker when you are using a file locally. Let's say you have the file is there inside your hard drive. Pretty much, you have no limitation. You do all the ugliest stuff you can find on the book. It will work fine. Okay. Then you have the in-premise server. That means in the same building, like I have here, for example, I have a server here. Now it's all cable networked, and so I have my own network at home. When I open a file from that server, it's like local. I mean, it's so fast.
Yeah, about 0.05 to 1.5 will be your speed.
It'll be your speed. Yeah, because the file is at the other side of my house with a gigabit kind of a network. So I have no problem here. And then you start having problems. But I have no problem because I am one user. But if you start sharing with multiple users, even an in-premise server, you start seeing some slow down a little bit. And then you have another problem you have when you go to the cloud. So here you have another problem, and then you start having different problem. And something I keep saying all the time over again and again and again is that the number it's what matters. The number of users, the number of records, the number, more you grow the numbers, whatever the numbers you have, more layout, more relationship, more every time you grow the number, you have a problem.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So but that's life. It's not FileMaker. That's life. It's a fact of life.
Yep. So it's not to discourage people. It's just it is what it is, and that's why we spend so much time on performance, right? So, all right. So I want to say good on Leland. So there's the 2 sample files you have there to play with them. If you have questions, you want to hire him, send him some money. Definitely feel free to do that. How do I tell FileMaker to? Is it right?
So the interesting, Leland, if he's listening, I think he's listening. What is interesting could be interesting is to launch this on the PSOS. I mean, you launch this on the server.
Okay, but then the server has to test some other point, right?
Then you test from a client. You can test the connection of the server, not the connection of this clients. You know what I mean? So you perform on server, you perform this on the server, and then you have the ping like you were sitting in front of the server.
Okay,
right?
Stop. So you're talking about the server testing it back to the client that way?
No. I don't. No, because we cannot do that.
I know we can't. That's why I'm trying to understand what you're talking about.
No,
so
what I want to do the ping to apple.com from the server.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. The question is, can you do a insert from URL from the PSOS with a curl option? You should. That should work just fine. Why not? Yeah, that's fine.
So then you can have you can put that inside your solution, and you say, okay, you can ask the people, say, okay, click here. Do you see local test that do the test on the machine, on the client, and then you say, okay, click on the server test, and then perform script on server. Go to the server, do the test, the ping, return the numbers, and then you can compare. And if you have a good ping on the client, but a terrible ping on the server, you know where the problem is on the server.
Yeah. This gets back to trying to diagnose the networking problems.
Yeah, but the ping is, I don't know if you remember, but for the oldest people, if you're 45 and less than this, you don't know what I'm talking about. But remember the Mac we had on the system 6, and 7, we had a selector. You remember that? The selector to select a printer, to select a network and stuff like that.
Yes. Chooser. Okay. It's chooser.
Yes, chooser. Yeah, because it's selector in French. Sorry, it's chooser. Okay.
We don't do French here.
Yeah, okay. So we have, and you remember that everybody at Apple and all the experts in network at Apple, they were saying the first tool we use to diagnose an Apple network back in the day was the chooser. It was there where you could diagnose. The first diagnosis tool was a chooser. So the ping is the same here. It's the first tool you use to diagnose, right? That's why it would be interesting to say if Leyland cannot expand this and say, okay, I want to trace route. I want, all kind of the what you have here on the software here.
Nick is getting greedy. I understand what he's saying. So trace route is like, okay, so remember what we do with ping, and it tells us the speed. Everyone, for those of you, Bunny and Trixie and everyone.
Show me the network.
I normally have a ping plotter tool, which is actually even better than this, but let me see. Let me stop here. Let me see. Trace route.
Apple.com.
Oh, Apple.com. Okay, we can try that, I guess, and see what happens. So what this does is basically showing you all the stop signs. So remember we said that every hop is a stop sign. Your car is stopping, then wait, then go, right? There's 9. Well, basically, I guess I don't think the outside ones count. And then you've got all these are the stops. There's basically 7 stop signs between where I'm at and the closest server that Apple considers a server.
Yeah. So now type apple.fr like France.
Okay, .fr. Okay.
Yeah. What? That's the same though. It's going to
but I don't. What's DE here? I don't understand DE. Why would it be going to DE? What Apple?
Oh, it's going to Germany.
Why would it be going to Germany?
Actually, I am stopping.
I'm totally confused of why. Yeah, I know it's DE, but I just typed apple.com, right? So why would it be going to
apple.com? Yeah.
I'm very confused because we can't go to Germany that fast. It's not possible.
No, it's not in Germany. This Apple DE is not in Germany.
There's a DNS problem there with that. All right, let me try Amazon.com. Let's just start with that. Okay, so Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Los Angeles, Houston, and then did it just like crap itself and stop? It went to Texas and blew up. Well, because Texas has got all these problems right now, but it should.
Not only this, but after that, you have also companies like this. They stop their, they lock the trace routes.
Oh, so you can't see it?
Yeah, because trace route is the best tool for hackers to use.
Okay.
Because because all of those IPs are computers where you have access. You jump from one to another to another to
the stop sign, the stop signs, and each stop sign you could hack the stoplight. You can hack the stoplight.
Like okay, so but you can, for example, if you notice that to go to Apple is using one of those computers. Each of those computers is a potential security breach and point of entry for any hackers, right? So that's why I'm not surprised if you do irs.com or irs.gov, you will see you don't go far.
All right, let's try that. That was almost no hops.
You stop immediately.
Yeah, it went to San Jose and stopped. And remember, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so it jumped. Yeah. It's pretty quick.
And we both know the server is not in San Jose.
Yeah. Well, IRS very well. They the content management, but here's the thing: you go to apple.com, right? And I guarantee we're not going to Germany. One, and even if we were going to Germany, we know that going all the way to Europe from the West Coast would be over 100 milliseconds, and we're getting 16, 20 milliseconds. This is extreme bullshit. So
IP address v4 starting with 17 cannot be Germany. So that's it.
So let me see. Here's
Germany is like 200 something. I don't know. It's
So it's so TK. So to be very clear, this gets into an area where I am not a super expert, but I don't have to be. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. So I pretend like I'm a network guy. But the point is if you understand the milliseconds, you can check the milliseconds. If you have a low number, the network is not a problem. If the number is high, either your FileMaker server is too far away, or it's pretty close, but there's too many people driving through the stoplights, and there's too much traffic, and you need to tell people to quit surfing Mars, download videos. Okay, so anyway. Cool. That's that one. I want to pivot real quick. We got a couple minutes left. I want to give David Angel. David sent me a file out of. I don't want to hang up. I almost hung up on Nick. Where did the go here? Magnifying glass. So David created this. I gave everyone the sample file too. So this is another one where we kind of create a, he's got like a, and this is like another JavaScript kind of thing here, right? So this is a web viewer, right? Going through here, and he's playing with this. So David Angel, are you there? David Angel, he is here. Good, good. So David, do you have anything to say about your amazing star solution? This is really cool. Because clearly FileMaker doesn't have an inspector where you can inspect and see stuff, right? See how this works. All right, so talking about the JavaScript sample file. So anyway, so it's a magnifying glass. It's a web viewer. Once again, the web viewer doing, I remember Larry going, why should I care about what web viewers do? Because web viewers do things that FileMaker can't do. This happens to be, I like the cropper tool, but this is another one kind of like that where you can see things, right? And so you can put the image in here. Larry says he cares about web viewers now, so that now he understands that. So yeah, but the question was really great, Larry, because it helped me understand people going, why should I care? Like, why should I care about FileMaker? Why do we care about FileMaker, Nick? Right? So this is another good one, Nick, right here. I don't know, is Nick still there? Or do we lose Nick? Nick, are you there? Did I hang up on Nick? Oh, I think I hung up on Nick. I hung up on you by accident, Nick.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting there talking like, Nick, what do you think about this? And he's like,
I said, okay, you don't want me anymore. You flushed me. That's okay.
Well, it took me a second to figure out that you weren't there. Like, God, it's awful quiet here. So this is Larry's magnifying glass sample file. I was another great little tool, very simple to do. Yeah, and I always like, listen, and to people, this is why I go to Claris and I talk to Claris or attempt to talk to them, and they intermittently listen when they want to. But but you don't understand your customers, your customer base, unless you go and talk to all the people. And when people come to me with questions like, why does this matter to me? It means that somewhere along the way, it wasn't articulated why something's important. Why is a web viewer important, right? And so it's really, I initially when someone says it, just for about 2 seconds, I'm agitated because I'm like, well, if I was such a great trainer, then Larry wouldn't be asking such a stupid question. Of course it's important. But then you realize, wait a minute, if I was a great trainer, Larry would understand this. And B, more importantly than that, maybe if he's asking a question, other people have the question, and maybe this is a big question, right? Why are web viewers, not, people don't understand them. And so it helps me recenter myself. And so I greatly appreciate it. Really, what Larry did, I greatly appreciated it. It was a good one. So, so David Angel, right? Web viewer. So you're inside a web viewer right here. It takes the container out of here. It rips it in here, allows you to inspect it. I'm not sure what you're looking for, digging for gold or something, but the point is it's a really great sample. There's a little bit of information down here at the bottom where he got the code from, etc. And so once again, he didn't write the JavaScript on this, right? This JavaScript is open source. He sticks it in FileMaker, gets it to work. Awesome. So tomorrow, Nick, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be open Q&A day for Nick.
Yeah, and I'm going to give my insight about those Java stuff, because I think we need to have a kind of a conversation around this Java, and I because I wanted to, because many people are asking me things about this, and the question is where to start using Java and also where to stop using Java. Because otherwise, if your FileMaker solution is a Java solution, quit FileMaker and go to the PHP, because there's no way, you know what I mean? So if you replace everything, so I think
you're talking about that other alternate design thing, right? Yeah. So, well, I could answer the question in 2 seconds, but that's because I think about things like that. But the short version for me is that you use JavaScript when it covers over a weakness or a missing feature in the FileMaker platform, right? But it's like using, we talked about it yesterday, or I don't know, it was yesterday. We were talking about the book, but I have people that sometimes they work for RCC and they come from the SQL world and they want to do everything in FileMaker as SQL, but FileMaker's not an SQL database, and doing SQL through FileMaker frequently can be slower than doing it kind of like the correct way, right? And so, yeah, so it becomes this issue where if you just want to do JavaScript and code in JavaScript, probably FileMaker is not the platform to be in. FileMaker uses JavaScript as an ancillary tool, uses SQL, frankly, as an ancillary reporting tool to help solve certain kind of niche problems, right? No signature capture on the Mac or Windows. Oh, we have that now, right? No image cropping, whatever, or image magnifying or whatever the issue is. No horizontal portals, right? There's no portals all the portals in FileMaker are vertical. How do we get a horizontal one? No, you can't have that. Well, what if we did it in JavaScript? Well, you could. That might be a way of solving it, right? So that's my answer, Nick. What is your answer for that?
No, exactly the same. I mean, I would say it must be simple. It must be not breakable, because if you build something like in Java and it's breaking all the time and it's super complicated, and you spend five more time 5 times more time on the development and stuff like that. Sometimes it's better not having the feature, right?
And then Leland, who's a very serious developer here, I want to point this out. Did point out a very important thing. So we're talking about JavaScript for the most part. Java and JavaScript are two totally different things. The FileMaker community will use both of those. For example, 360works loves to use Java in their plugin development. But most of the high traction, high interest area with add-ons and web viewers is in JavaScript, which is very different. And so it's unfortunately that they have the root of their name is kind of the same thing. Very, very different. So Leland's got a really, really great point there. So just so everyone knows, Nick went away to work on projects, and I hear this like sniveling. Richard, when do I get to come back? When do I get to come back? Because I missed the audience, right?
No,
seriously. So
no, I don't want to lose the training, that because it's not easy to be on our seat. People say, oh, that's easy. Just sit down in front of the microphone and that's, but it's not easy to be on our seat.
So what we do, well, okay. Anyone can make a video. And then now you try making at least 1 to 2 videos every day for, years, and then not go out of business doing it. That's a trick. So cool. All right, Michael Grab, we'll catch everyone tomorrow. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snaps a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.